Okay, so we're going to talk all around clicks, creatives, and conversion. So how we can win with paid media and AI in 2025. Do you guys want to just take it down the line, introduce yourself, the company, and a bit about what you do there?
Of course. Hey everyone, I'm Himaji Negi. You can call me Hem, not Ham, please. I drive new customer and revenue growth for MyProtein as the head of paid media. I cover 4 channels: search, social, display, and app, and also performance creative across all these channels. Our mission at MyProtein is to support and empower people in the fitness journeys through our high quality and great tasting products. So excited to be here today and hoping to add value to you all. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Chris. I work at Built for Athletes. I look after digital there. That's paid acquisition, on-site experience, anything kind of related to that. So whether that's Meta, Google Ads, TikTok, or just kind of on-site experience, or that's CRO, I look after that.
I'm James. I'm head of paid media for Rainy City, and I try my best to link up the creative and the data teams in our clients just to offset rising CAC. But yeah, that's might be my biggest challenge. But yeah, I'd say being a creative strategist is what's really moved the needle for our clients.
And Hem, let's start with you. You've managed some huge budgets across Meta, TikTok, Google. What's working right now across these platforms?
An approach that's working well for us, especially in this wave of automation, is that we're playing at each of our platform strengths. So instead of resisting the change, we're adapting in these 3 core ways. Number 1, we're shifting away from hyper-targeting at your audience level and bringing that to your creative level. So creative is becoming a new targeting, which allows us to do my point number 2 really well, is creative testing and scaling. To give you guys some context, we used to do about 20 to 30 creatives a month, and now we're doing up to 1,000 creatives a month. This won't be possible if you were over-segmenting our audiences, but also it keeps you stuck in your learning phase, which is the most inefficient phase to be, especially with your budgets. At MyProtein, we've got multiple products such as Impact Whey, Clear Whey, Creatine, pre-workout, and I can go on forever. But the point is that we are allowing our algorithms with broader audiences to match the right product and the creative to the right audience, and that's working well for us. And lastly, a holistic approach across all our platforms. So instead of Meta versus Google versus TikTok and YouTube and so on, we are very intentional about how and where we position these platforms in a user's journey. So they work together as a team instead of operating in silos.
And James, just to kind of follow on from that, obviously Meta remains a huge powerhouse for brands. What creative trends are actually performing versus what's just hype?
I get asked this quite a lot. I wouldn't recommend chasing trends. If you see a viral thing on TikTok or Meta, but I think what's working with our clients and what I see in my network is authenticity and being really tapped into your emotional resonance with your ads is the most important. And these are not more likely to be the evergreen ads in the account because it's going to be really looking at what your TAM's wanting to hear. And I think with the AI boom and the people can churn out 10, 20 ads in an hour now. So I think there's going to be lots of AI slop, and you have to really be authentic more than ever. So I think that's one of the main trends. Another format that's working really well is the founder's story ads. And I think mainly why this works is because it's a really good copy exercise. If you're a founder and you're showing why you built the brand, it's going to be really resonating for your audience if they've got the same pain points. And B, it just shows you're not a faceless brand. So again, I see loads of accounts where this is taking up all the spend, just a really simple piece to camera founder story.
And Chris, AI is obviously well, not obviously, but it's a big part of your tool set. How are you using it to improve paid media performance?
Yeah, so we use a lot of it. So a lot of our, well, we sell backpacks, in case you didn't know, mainly for the fitness industry. So it's quite a niche product, and there's a lot of kind of competitors in that space. There's a lot of kind of knockoffs. So we do deep research. So we're going on where people are actually talking about our products, so that whether that's Reddit or forums, or not so many forums nowadays, or news sites, and basically finding out what people like about our product, what they dislike, and then basically shout about those likes from the rooftops in our ads, and then see what kind of problems we've kind of solved. So we basically kind of iterate on the data we have. One of our most valuable things is actually the post-purchase survey, to basically find out why people bought from us and like how long it was since they purchased from us. Obviously, with a lot of this, we can now use free text, so we can put that in ChatGPT and like break those down into kind of segments, and then we can use that data to kind of make better creative and kind of ad that speaks to those type of customers that are buying from us rather than what we think we are selling to the customer. I think that's quite important, is actually knowing what the customers actually want rather than what you think they want.
How many like people do you find like take up the offer of doing like the post-purchase survey?
We have a 37% post-purchase survey rate at the moment. It's randomized, the order, so that kind of removes a lot of the bad data. It's 4-step one. It drops off obviously as you get further down, but we found out some interesting stuff that people first heard of our brand 6 months before they purchased typically, and that's about half of our customers, which we never expected. So it's really, really valuable data, probably the most useful data we can have in the business. And then we also crawl through Trustpilot, stuff like that, and get those kind of success stories and then try and import them into what we're trying to sell to people.
Yeah. And Hem, you mentioned like bridging the gaps between like creative and paid teams. Like what practical steps have helped unlock like better collaboration and performance?
So I've had to do this a couple of times in my career, including at MyProtein. And my starting point has always been, how do we bring our brand and creative teams on the journey with us? And I do this in 3 simple steps. Number 1, educating them on a performance paid creative. I think we are very quick to assume that they should know what a good paid creative should look like. Their world of creators is very holistic because they're serving multiple different platforms. So it's important that we educate them on best practices of a paid creative and also differentiate that between different platforms. Number 2, aligning on brand non-negotiables. Now, this is a game changer. This is where we step into the brand team's world and truly understand what are the 3 to 5 key points that actually are unique to a brand and creates a brand consistency, creates a brand identity, and how do we embody them in our set of creators. And lastly, we educate them on a reporting system which provides them learnings. I think performance teams get this wrong because they provide a jargon of metrics which are very hard for external teams to understand who don't live in your paid world. So it's important that we effectively communicate in a simple and clear way what those key learnings are and what are the actionable insights that they can carry on to the next batch of creatives. So a consistent loop of creative learnings. And this helps remove subjectivity, personal bias, because everyone starts leading on insights backed with data. And this, I think, 100% helps unlock collaboration, but leads to stronger performance because everyone is in the same journey with you.
Everyone's like following the same like methodology. James, like what role is like UGC or AI generated content playing in like the creative strategies that you're producing?
I'd say like 90%. I haven't got a workflow for actually using AI to create the ads, whether it's like editing or using ChatGPT solely yet. We use it mainly for like the ideation phase. Like we said before, if you're looking at like customer reviews, Reddit, Instagram posts, and you're putting that through ChatGPT, you can really find some like blue ocean angles and, so, like I said, hooks that you can use in the ads. And it's just basically getting way more brainstorming ideas that we can like still act as like an editor and pick which to test. So if anyone has got a workflow like using Icon or ChatGPT, hit me up after, because I think it's about 90% of where you're at. I think the last 10% is going to be really hard to bridge the gap from like a really good creative strategist. But like in 6 months' time, it could be that could have just been blown out the water. So yeah, mainly like in brainstorming at present.
And just to kind of switch it a little bit over to attribution, Chris, it's a constant challenge in paid media, and often it's always discussed on like where should we be tracking this data from, like what's accurate, what's not. What tools or frameworks are you guys using to really understand what's working?
So we use obviously in-platform data as well. We use a tool called Elevar to actually kind of improve that in-platform data, because obviously your bidding strategies are going to be based off the in-platform data, so you want that to have as much accuracy as you can. We also use kind of tools like Triple Whale to do the kind of multi-touch modeling, stuff like that, to kind of get like an ideal customer journey of like how many times they kind of interact with us, and then which one kind of would actually made them purchase, rather than, because a customer will, probably see you on Meta, then see you on Google, and then maybe go direct, click a Google ad later. Which one of those actually generated the sale? You could probably argue it is all of them, but in terms of generating the new customer, I would probably say it's Meta. That's how it works for us, at least. Whereas our Google is more kind of capturing that demand and kind of protecting our kind of space. So you kind of have to figure out what works for your brand, but basically making sure your data is as clean as possible will allow you to kind of act on that. Whereas if you're not sure what you're doing with your data, or like looking at Shopify for maybe conversion rate one day and then next day using Google Analytics conversion rate, like pick one and kind of stick to it would be my advice on that.
Because it's gonna impact like how you're approaching like budgeting decisions as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So we spent a long time kind of struggling with this, but we kind of use the multi-touch modeling from Triple Whale at the moment for that now, and we base it off that, so we kind of stick to the same metrics, but try not to just go for like different platform metrics. Just stick to kind of one. Otherwise, you'll be way off.
How are you guys handling attribution at MyProtein?
I want to start with, it's not easy because there's so many multiple attributions and all of them some pointing to different things. The way we do it at MyProtein is we've got our MMM model, we've got internal attribution model, and then we've also got our platform attribution model. And it's very important to understand which one of these serve you best for your long-term goals and which ones serve best for your short-term goals. And then we triangulate the relationship between them to understand if, say, our MMM model's return on ad spend is X, then what is the return on ad spend for our platform attribution model? Now, this helps us set targets and budget effectively. So I would sum up our approach as we triangulate our multiple attribution models, understand which ones serve best for long-term and short-term, and then also really understand and be flexible around them. It's not let's get comfortable with not having one attribution model that's a single source of truth. So take that long-term approach whilst managing a short-term.
Give us one quick piece of advice for brands that are like struggling to budget effectively as well.
Often I find that when brands are struggling on budgeting effectively, they're stuck in the short term because they're managing the day-to-day, which I understand. I've been in the spots. So it's to really review, take a step back. It starts with awareness. It starts with reviewing your processes and finding where the gaps are, and then having those conversations about this is my short term, this is my long term. But it starts with reviewing your processes and then having those conversations.
Thank you. And James, last one and quick fire answers. What's like the most common mistakes that you're seeing brands make when it comes to creative strategy and on Meta, and how are you fixing that?
I think a lot of brands don't have diverse enough creatives, so they'll find a winning formula and think, right, let's just make 10 more variations of this. And I think with Meta's new like targeting and algorithm changes, where creative is the targeting, you really, really need to have diverse pockets of audiences you're going after. And I don't just mean like diversifying both videos, images. You need to be looking at like even like meme formats, humorous formats, high polished, ugly ads. You need to really be targeting different personas, different avatars to really get as much reach as possible. And if you're just staying on one formula, you're just going to get really quick ad fatigue. And another mistake is a lot of brands go after just like problem-aware audiences. So it means like loads of competitors are fighting over like a small pool of audience. Whereas if you go to problem unaware, at times you can educate them down the funnel. And I think this is just a real good way of getting scale if you're not doing this.
Amazing. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.